Hi everyone, happy Monday. I hope everyone's having a fabulous day and enjoying their time. I wanted to take this time out to talk about the new moon in Aries that's happening in the morning hours, which will technically happen on the 24th. Today's the 23rd. And I wanted to talk about what a new moon was and the importance of it and the effects that it has, and some characteristics of Aries being in the new moon right now, and also how Chiron is affecting us at this time. So a lot of people, some of my friends that I speak to mention that astrology and all of this is so confusing to them and they don't understand it. So I try to create these videos to break it up in smaller chunks so that maybe it will help understand. And I like to start with using the lunar cycle and explaining how the lunar cycle interacts with whatever zodiac sign it's in and how that affects us at that time. So right now we're about to go into a new moon, and it represents, and so for all of you that don't know, there's a lunar cycle, and the lunar cycle lasts about 29 days, and it represents the start. So the new moon represents the start of that cycle. It's when the earth, the moon, and the sun are positioned in a line, which is why we have what we think is the absence of the moon, because that cycle is beginning. So the new moons and the full moons are so powerful. It has so many effects on the earth. One of the things that happens is that the ocean, it affects the ocean and it affects the tides. And this, during a new moon or a full moon, is when the tide is the highest or the lowest for that day, for that evening. And, a lot of people, and I don't want to get into the scientific aspect of it because it's complicated, but science has studied it and they realize that it affects the ocean. Right? And so with that being said, if we think about ourselves as human beings, we're made up, I think, if I'm not wrong, 70% of water. I'm not sure, I'm not accurate on that number, but I know our body is made up a lot of water. So if you think about that and you see that how the effects that the moon has on the ocean, which is a huge, humongous body of water, then it's not far-fetched to think that the moons have an effect on us because we're made up of water, right? So the new moon represents an opportunity to start anew, for freshness, new beginnings, a time to reflect on old patterns, old habits, old thoughts. And it's a time where we can set goals and create new ones for ourselves. Another way to look at the full moon that I like to look at it, it's a cycled continual reincarnation, right? So every lunar cycle has a roughly 29 days in it. And so if we look at that cycle and we start the cycle of the new moon to its completion of the full moon, it's at every new moon, it's like, okay, this is a cycle for a new incarnation. It's a time to be able to start anew, to create something different, to take to contemplate and look at what has happened up until that point. And so I like to look at it as a continual reincarnation because I think that that's really powerful, that you have the ability to reincarnate yourself every 29 days right now on this planet. And whether you believe in reincarnation or not, you still can, use that to work for you right now, right? To take time to access your reincarnation every month, every 29 days on this cycle. I think that's really powerful. I think that's powerful to be able to think that you can rejuvenate yourself every 29 days. The new moon is also a chance to contemplate on your decisions and experiences and get rejuvenated during this time. So, and the process starts all over again every 29 days. And I like to look at a new moon as a clean slate. right? So I get to look at my experiences and everything that I went through in the past cycle. And it's a time to wipe the slate clean and start anew and have a fresh start. It's a great time for meditation, connection through prayer, journaling, organizing your goals so you can plan on how you want to move forward in your next move. So I want to talk a little bit about Aries and the characteristics of Aries so we can tie in the new moon into the energy of Aries that we're going to be experiencing this evening. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is, by the way, spring equinox is the beginning of a new astrological year. And we just experienced that I think it was Friday. Since Aries is the first sign, Aries is a fire sign. It's ruled by Mars. It's often ruled on Tuesdays. You can consider it as represents the initiating spark, the thing that starts things. It symbolizes fresh action. It symbolizes leadership and pioneers, impulsiveness, ambition. Aries is also a cardinal sign, which means, for those of you that don't know, cardinal signs like to get things going. They're the initiators, the starters, the fire starters, if you will, of the zodiac. Aries are bold, they're aggressive, they're courageous. It's a great, we just got off of spring equinox, and since this new moon in Aries, it's a great time for planting. It's a great time to plant your seeds. Metaphorically and literally. What another aspect that's happening right now, the energy is very strong right now, is Chiron. Chiron is an asteroid. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. It's also like I said, he's very active right now in this time of year. And it's no surprise, right? Let's think about what's happening in the world and the situations that we're in. And so you take all these and you add it together with the new moon, with Aries, and with Chiron. It's really representative of what's happening in the world right now, globally. Aries, it draws me and pulls me to think of ways on how to heal myself, how to heal others, and how to even heal the planet. And right now, what else? That's, I think, everybody's focus on some platform, right? Whether it's yourself, your family, others, or the planet. This is the time that we're in right now. So Chiron really sheds a light and has the gift of being able to take its wounds and make a powerful portal of healing, to be able to transform your weakness, if you will, into could be possibly your greatest strength. And there's so much power in that. So if we think about your personal greatest wound, think about how that could be an inspiration for you to turn it into something and turn it into a powerful strength for yourself. It also has us shed a light on whatever we've neglected or ignored in our well-being. It sheds a light for us to take a seat, sit down and think and contemplate on what have you neglected? What have you ignored about your wholeness, body, mind, and spirit, all aspects of you, just your well-being, and how you can take that and transform that into something that serves you, that serves your well-being. It's an opportunity to evaluate and develop a new routine that's productive and healthy during this time. So let's keep in mind that under this fiery Aries energy, we may experience ourselves being edgy, we may experience ourselves being wounded up, we may experience ourselves being aggressive or angry. I've had some friends mention, a lot of aggression and anger is coming up for them right now, and they're not really sure why. And during this time, it is, besides what's happening globally, Aries has that type of energy, right? And this is the energy that fire is building up inside of us. It's igniting that fire, and it's initiating that spark inside of us in some one way or another. And when we combine that with Chiron, and we look at, taking a look at our wounds, taking a look at our quote unquote weaknesses, right? And really having that fire within us to transform that into something that serves our being. So during the Aries new moon, it can be a time, it's a time to set intentions for yourself. Particularly since this is the beginning of the new astrological new year. This is a great time to set intentions for the year ahead, and to set some goals and some aspirations and things that you aspire to do in this next year. A lot of times people use this time to ask spirit, God, or the universe, whatever you call it, ask the universe what it is that you want from the universe. So I'm gonna recommend and offer something a little bit different during this new moon, especially at this time. What it is that we can do. How should I say this? I'll say this a different way. Asking spirit to open our hearts and show us how we can receive from God on what God wants from us during this time, during this very trying time. That's just another way to look at it, right? And there's nothing wrong with asking God on what you would like to set your intention. Nothing wrong with that. But I would also invite you to take a look at opening your heart and be willing to receive the messages from God on what God requests from you. How can you be a vessel during this time for God? How can you be a vessel to heal? How can you be a vessel to support another? How can you be a vessel of positivity? How can you be a vessel for spirit, God, and universe to be able to be used to spread into this space and into this very, very challenging, scary, fearful time that we're in right now? I leave you with that. I want to just invite you to allow God to show you the new beginnings of your soul for this next year ahead and see what comes up from you. Another thing that I want to add to this video is a ritual that I recommend that I'm going to do myself this evening. And it's a ritual that I actually found on a blog online by Forver Conscious. I'm not sure if it's a male or female that writes it. I'm just going to say she for the lack of not knowing. So this is how the ritual is explained. And don't worry, I'm going to post a link below the video, a link connecting to the ritual, so no need to write any of this stuff down. I'm just going to go through it, and if you have any questions, please comment below and let me know how this time goes for you. What intentions have you set for yourself? What have you noticed? How has God used you as a vessel? What communications did God send through you to support yourself, to support others, to support Mama Gaia, the earth, the planet? I would love to hear from you. All right, so the ritual involves these ingredients. So it asks for 3 crystals. If you don't have crystals, use rocks or whatever objects that you feel inspired to use. 3 flowers or 3 leaves or whatever you can find. A bowl of water, pen and paper or journal. And also in there's going to be a link for the white light meditation that you're going to use during this ritual. Feel free to use any meditational video during this ritual. This is a meditation that she made or he made, and I'm going to use that meditation. But feel free to do whatever spirit inspires you and alter this however makes sense for you and works for you. So she asks you to lay down on the floor and intuitively place your crystals on your body, anywhere in your body. And then while you're doing that, listen to the white light meditation that she offers. And then once you're done, remove the crystals from your body and take notice of the crystals. Take notice of the temperature. Is the crystal warm to the touch? Is the crystal cool to the touch? Is it vibrating? Whatever noticings you notice. In my experience, when crystals are warm, it tends to indicate that it helps me. The crystal helped me release something. If the crystal is cold to the touch, it helped me receive something that supports me in my being. And that's just my take. Your experience might be different, and if it is, let me know. Comment below. So after you take noticings of the crystals, then you take the crystals and you form a triangular configuration on a table, and then you place a bowl of water in the middle of the triangle. Now you're going to take one leaf or a flower, whatever you found, and you're going to put it in your hand. And you're going to think of the intention that you have for the year ahead, and you're going to whisper this intention into the flower. And you're going to do this 3 times because you have 3 flowers or 3 leaves. Once you're done placing all flowers inside the bowl, she offers a prayer to say, and it says, under the Aries sun, under the Aries moon, I welcome the new beginnings that is waiting to bloom. I call my guides and angels of highest light to guide me on this night. I ask to remain open to the next steps of my path. I ask to remain to all signs leading me out of the dark. I know I am strong. I know I will always find a way. I am aligned, body, mind, heart, and soul. I am one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for taking time to watch this video. Again, please comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. I want to interact and comment back and show you some love, and let's exchange ideas. Have a great new moon in Aries, and may all of your intentions manifest in this year ahead. Blessings.